House flipping is not as easy as the gurus make it sound. So I've got a flip down in Baytown, Texas that was going to kind of be a home run. In fact, we were going to be able to get it done in about 4 weeks and get it listed back in the summertime, which would have been great. That didn't happen. Hey, nothing goes according to plan when it comes to flipping. But today I've got to run a couple scenarios. I am going to actually hop on a Zoom call with Hard Money Joe. I still don't quite get this DSCR loan, which means a debt service coverage ratio. I think I nailed that. But what that means is basically I can get a 30-year loan on this with this, basically a hard money lender that's going to run off the rental rates instead of me having to do a hard pull on my credit and get a conventional loan. In fact, I was always wondering, how do these people get like 20, 30, 40, 50 houses in their portfolio? Because I thought you could only have a certain amount, like a couple houses under, your name, your credit, conventional loans. And that is true. So this is a reason or a way how to do that. So if you're finding good deals on houses that you think you could turn into a rental, well, he's going to run you through the exact calculator of how you could get a DSCR loan just by going off the rental rates, and it's a soft pull on your credit. And if the numbers are good enough, you can pull freaking money back out, put it in your pocket, homie. Now that's what I'm talking about. So today he's going to be pulling up his flip calculator and the DSCR loan calculator, and that way now you guys can actually run some of these deals before you ever purchase anything to see if if the numbers work out for rental or for flip. So I'm kind of in a sticky situation where I don't know if I'm going to be able to make money on it. Oh, and at the end of this, we actually run a bunch of comps to see what he thinks we should list it at. So anyways, I got the same questions you do. We're going to listen to the master, Mr. Hard Money Joe, and we're going to do something that I've never ever done before, right? Possibly turn a flip house into a long-term rental. So let's get over to the calculator and get with Hard Money Joe, and we're going to break down this entire deal. And I still have my other flip. It's been listed for quite a while, had a lot of showings, but still no offers. It's a really tough market, so we're going to run the profit calculator on that one and see if I can still make money on that, and also run that through there so that you can see how much money I have into that deal. So if you want to see real numbers and not the glorious side of house flipping, you might want to watch this video. So let's get after it. But before I do that, I appreciate everybody joining me here at the Ground Up House Flipping. Your guys' comments are amazing, besides the ones that are just destroying me, which is all good. I'm learning from it. But most of you are really enjoying this content, saying it's the most real thing you've ever seen, and that makes me feel good. So make sure that you guys comment down below. I'm super curious to know, are you guys seasoned flippers? Are you guys brand new flippers? Or are you looking to do your first flip? That way we can kind of reply in the comments and help you guys out, give you guys some free resources and tools. So comment down below where you're at in the flipping journey, and if you would, I don't care what you got to do, pause the video, hit that like button. The like button is what helps me. That's all I ask for. I don't charge you for anything, and you ain't got to pay for anything else. So let's get to these numbers, homies. All right, so let's run me through turning this was a flip into a rental, which now I'm like, dude, you imagine if I'd have just bought it for $44,000 at the beginning. It was in pretty good shape and rented it, but it was leaning like a cholo, but we probably could have jacked it. But anyways, hindsight's
What
always,
was the total? What was the total rehab bid on the foundation?
oh, the foundation, God, only like 1,500, 12, 15. It's, I can't believe how it's
Yeah,
inexpensive.
it was cheap.
But when they did that, everything was popping, crapping, cracking, snapping too. But yeah, anyways, hindsight's always 2020. The big
And
issue
then
was
the
that
fine you used the whole rehab, right? I think it was like 70,
70,
75K.
yep,
That was
something.
a lot for a small house.
Well, and what happened was like it was just one of those everything that could go wrong went wrong because we were going to convert it into a 3-bed, 2-bath. And so like I was even talking to Giovanni, the realtor over there, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I can sell that like tomorrow for 155, 160 or something." So I'd be like killing it on the flip.
Uh,
But since we couldn't do that and we got red tech and like working with that city, I mean, it's basically impossible. We couldn't get that 3-2 going, so we scrapped it. But then the hurricane came through, destroyed the roof, bunch of leaks, had to replace drywall, and then we tore down that garage and we're gonna build off the back
yeah.
a big laundry room and stuff. So With all that, it just basically came out to about, the same.
Yeah. So kind of balanced out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But I think when I ran these numbers, I put in renting it at 1,500. You think that sounds about right
For what?
for rent that can be achieved?
Yeah, low end 1300 probably. Because it's only a 2-1. So I think probably 1300 is a
We
safe
can check
number.
we can check comps here if you want
Yeah, let's do it.
in a second. But let me share this.
Yeah, just run this if it was your property.
You see this?
Yep.
And let me just double check that we were talking about flood zones. This is the easiest way to do it. It's just check flood zone. So yeah, you're in flood zone X, so you wouldn't have to carry flood insurance.
Yep.
Anything in the yellow and blue, you're gonna have to carry. And not always you have to carry it in the 500 year, but
Yep.
definitely in the AE. So yeah, you're okay there. So it helps to know all these numbers. I pulled up the tax roll. Your tax per year is 2352. Your insurance will say 1,500 for the year.
Yeah.
I did put 1,500 in there, and we'll see if it knocks down the DSCR ratio. But so we'll start off with 1,500, and
Yep.
again, I keep saying this, and it's taken a little bit of time for development, but we're going to put the same DSCR calculator on the Spark Lending website as well as that flip calculator. But this is the best one I found so far that I use, and I use this on every DSCR I run. It's just
Okay.
this funloans.com. And then so I just put my numbers in here. So I put 1,500 in the gross rental income, and then the price I'm putting is the price of the loan. So I still think you probably appraised for 155. Let's just kind of fingers crossed.
Well, what? Yeah, it's been so long. What was the hard money appraisal at? I don't remember. You
It's
know
a
what?
good
I
point.
might be able to pull it up while you're
I
going
should have
through
it.
that.
I have it right here. I pulled it up. Let's take a look. Here's what it looked like before. Give you flashbacks.
Yep, I know.
So this appraised for 153. Yeah, 153.
So with a recent appraisal like that, when we ask for a DSCR appraisal, are we going to submit that to help us?
We can do. So, the DSCR is really not at our mercy. It's just, these big capital sources that all DSCR guys lend into. Hard money is different than the DSCR. So, but yeah, we will use this. If we wanted to achieve close to this 153, by the sounds of it, we're good if we can get this number. I would send this over to the appraisal and say, hey, we had this one done prior. Whether they use it or not is completely up to them. But
Yeah.
sometimes they get lazy and they still utilize some of these comps.
Okay.
But I can't remember if we gave the appraiser a scope of work which included
Yeah,
increasing the
I would
square
imagine
footage.
to get to 153, I bet you we did. So
Yeah. So
what
if we
that
look
means
at
is
the
that,
comps,
yeah,
well,
not.
actually, no, because look, he's using. So if you look at his comparables, this one's 946, this one's 744, and this one's 1,000 square feet. So all of these are similar size because I believe yours is around 800 something, right? 900.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm hopeful that we can get close to that 155 mark. So we'll use that number on the calculator. So if we appraise at 155, if you do a rate and term refinance, you can get up to 80%.
So say that in like a rate and term. What's that mean?
Yeah, so there's really two types of refinance. One's rate and term, which means that you're just paying off a loan, but you're not getting a cash back or a lot of cash back. You can still get a couple $1,000 on a rate and term, but a cash out refinance is where you're taking money, a good chunk of money back at closing.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And it all works according to the numbers, right? So
Yeah.
let me pull up a calculator here. I'll show you. So if it praises at 155, right? And we get 80% on a rate and term, it gives us a loan amount of 124. And your
Okay.
payoff is 113, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this 124 here and this loan value, 124. And then the rates that I gave you earlier, let's pull this up.
Have gone up.
Yeah, they're not super attractive right now.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I would not want to pay anything unless there was money in the closing cost. But I mean, at 122, 8.1 versus 7.3 is probably not a huge difference.
we can plug it in and see it. But let's go for 7.821, right?
Okay.
So 7.821. Interest only no, 30 years. Principal and interest is 894.44. Insurance, this is monthly. So let's call it 1,500 divided by 12. You got 125. And then your taxes was
2,300 and
2352. So 2352 divided by 12 is 196. So this gives you a DSCR ratio of 1.234, which is pretty good, right?
What's good? What's bad?
Well, you got to be at a 1.1 or above. Otherwise, you're going to have to
Oh, you
lower
want
the
to be
loan amount.
above. Okay.
Yeah, the higher the DSCR ratio, the better. So let's look. If you put in, say, 1800, well, then your DSCR jumps up to 1.4,
Oh, okay.
right? But if you put it down to 1300, well, now we're getting close to not being
One.
able to do 124, right?
Okay.
And the needle swings pretty quickly. So even like at 1350,
Yeah, you're
that
there.
bumps it up to one. So the taxes and insurance is super important, and it's what throws off a lot of the DSCR, and people have to bring money to the table because the taxes is really high. Flood insurance kills it. So all these little factors down here.
So, real quick, this calculator is good too if you're assessing a property before you even purchase it. If you want it as like a long-term rental, you can do a DSCR loan instead of a conventional.
Yeah, absolutely. The real main difference between the DSCR and a conventional loan is the DSCR is more asset based. It stands for debt service coverage ratio. So it's really just assessing the ability for the income from the property, your rent, to pay off the mortgage every month, to pay off all the all your principal, interest, tax, and insurance every month.
And what
So
what
they
what would you
do.
say that what's the biggest pro of using a DSCR then over just going and getting a conventional loan? Is it you can do as many of these you want or what?
You can do as many as you want. You're not limited
Uh,
to a Fannie Freddie 10. They're much easier to get. You're going to do a soft pull on your credit. It's not a hard pull.
mm,
And they're not looking at tax returns. They're going to check a little bit of liquidity, but it's not like a conventional loan where you're going to have to submit a couple tax returns and they're basing it on the DTI, right? The debt to income. So the more it's crazy, the more if you're doing conventional loans, the more that you get, the harder they become to close because the way that the banking institutions look at it is every time you get a new loan, that becomes your debt,
yep.
right? So you have 124,000 worth of debt. They really don't factor in that you're making cash flow on it. So it becomes trickier and trickier. With DSCR, man, you can do 70 of these tomorrow, and that debt
Yeah.
doesn't play a factor. It's the DSCR ratio which plays a factor. So now the only thing I would say is what's kind of annoying is you have to have at least or a signed lease in place. And what they're going to use for this income is they're going to use the lesser of what it's leased for or what it comes back as on the appraisal to quantify that number.
So, like a quick example would be what?
So what's happened before, which kind of sucks, is let's say you have this thing rented for $1,500
Yeah.
and you're at 1.234 on the ratio, and you're like, oh, all right, great, I'm golden. I got a great DSCR ratio. My cash flow is actually close to $300 because my PITI, everything involved in that note payment is 12.15 a month. So I'm making nearly $300. But then the appraisal comes back, and for some reason the appraiser appraised it super low, right? Let's say it appraised it at 1,200. Well, now I'm way under that 1.1. So now I have to lower my loan amount to get to that 1.1,
And that just
right?
means more money out of pocket.
That means now I'm going to have to, for this has turned to me getting money back or bringing money to now I have to bring money to the table.
And I only owed 113, so am I factoring in like 10, $11,000 in closing costs or something?
So yeah, it's not really all into closing cost. And again, it would just balance down. So it might not set at 124 if it was less and we went for rate and term. It would go, it would lower the loan slightly. But let's say you have 124,000 in your loan and you have 113 payoff. Well, you're going to have, title cost.
Yep.
Most lenders are going to charge you originate, like 2 or 3 points. We're going to do it for you just to pay the loan processor. So let's say we'll just say $1,000. And then what really throws people off is that these big note holders, they escrow 3 months of the principal and interest upfront, right? So although it you're paying it at closing or it's factored into that loan, what happens is once you originate that loan, you're not going to have it
Oh,
until
hold on.
March.
Okay. You pause there, but I wouldn't have a payment for 3 months.
Correct. So
Oh,
let's
so
look
they're
at
gonna take
let's
like 3,645 bucks, give or take, and escrow
yeah.
it.
So you're at let's see. Let's put it let's just be optimistic and say it appraises at 1,500. So your total payment is 1214.44, right?
Yep.
So let's say escrow 1214. We'll times
15.
this by
Yeah.
by three.
36, 50.
Yeah. So then you got 1,000 here. Title cost, let's put in, 1,500 bucks for a title policy, escrow fee, or maybe we'll put 2,000 in. And then you're gonna have like, legal documents, legal fees, right? So all of a sudden and that escrow is what really hurts it.
Yeah, but I
So you've
like
got,
that. Not having a payment for 3 months. That's nice.
well, you don't have a payment, but it is being worked into the loan,
I know. But
So here's where people are like, I have 10K of closing costs. Well, actually, no, you don't. You've got, your title cost, you've got whatever your lender charges you, origination on it, and then you're going to have your escrow and then any kind of legal fees. So
yep.
now what I mean by not doing cash out on this is because it does affect the rate. So if you've got your payoff and then you've got, what is that? You've only got like 3,300 bucks cashing out. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So it doesn't make sense to cash out and bump your rate up too much if you're only getting 3,000. Because on rate and term legally you can still take up to 2,000. So
Okay.
if there's any overage, you might as well take the 2,000 and keep a little bit lower rate than taking that extra $1,000.
Okay.
But yeah, so it it
So
it,
do
it
I have to have a renter in there to do this, or are we just like, hey, we're submitting for a DSCR loan and let's go
you can
forward?
get started as long as you have a lease signed in place. Now I don't want to say anything sketchy, but as long as you have a lease on paper,
Gotcha.
you're okay.
Okay.
Because they're not going to do it without the appraisal, and the appraisal they're going to lean on more, but they want to see that you have the ability to have it leased. So
Okay.
yeah, as long as you have a signature on a lease and you can show a security deposit, Zelle, check, cash stub, then you're okay.
Okay. So moving forward, I got to finish it completely, which it's done. Just get that final inspection.
Well, you can start at any time, and you can
Yeah,
push back
I
the.
might as well get it listed, huh?
Yeah, you can have it listed for rent. I mean, you don't even need it listed for lease to do the DSCR because you could technically lease it off market. Um,
Gotcha. Okay.
so it's okay, and you can always get the ball rolling. The only thing that I don't like is when an appraiser goes to a house which is not completely finished.
Yep.
Sometimes that can sway their total value, or they might even tell the lender it's not finished, and then the lender will say, "Well, you need to finish this before we
Yeah, and I
before we."
believe it's finished. We're just trying to get final inspection done
Auto inspection from the city or from us?
from the city.
Okay. And you still have no, I think we released everything,
Yeah, I'm
right?
basically done with the hard money.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Okay.
done with the hard money. I just need to close out with the city before, and close those permits. But
But yeah, so that's your factor. So we definitely need at least, we wanted to appraise at 155 and we need at least 1350 to hit that 1.1.
okay. So
Well, if it appraised higher, we could always readdress it and we could look at, doing cash out. Or if it
so what
was
happens if
something,
it appraises at 145 or 14, there's just no way of doing a DSCR without putting a bunch of money down?
well, if it appraises at what's your 145, you said 140?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just play it out.
Yeah. So let's say it appraised at 140. Well, what's 80% of 140? It's 112, right?
Yep.
So we'll go back over to the spreadsheet. And then if the loan is 112,
So all we're seeing is your calculator right here.
yeah. So yeah, we don't want it to appraise at 140 because now look, this is your cash out of pocket.
Is what? So all we've been seeing is the DSCR calculator.
Yeah. Oh, you can't
We're
see
not we're
the,
not seeing anything else.
oh, you're not seeing the spreadsheet?
Cash out of pocket. No.
Okay, hold on. Let me reshare it. Sorry, I've been using this calculator thing and you can see it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So
Okay,
it's
so this is what would happen if it appraised at 140, right?
it'd
So
be 80.
I'll do this for you here. ARV
Yeah.
155, right? And then this loan here equals this times 0.8. So if it
Yep.
appraised at 155, then your loan is 124. Right, this is 80% of that. Then now this is your payoff. This
Yep.
is your closing costs, including that 3 months here,
Yep.
right, of the escrow. So you're looking at plus like 3,000 bucks. But let's say the ARV came in at 140 and came in light. Well, now we're looking at minus 8 grand.
Yep.
So yeah, it's important that we,
So in order to do it, I would have to pay 8,000 at closing, 8,500 at closing.
correct.
And then I got to
So
pay for this appraisal too.
yep,
So
right around 150 is looks like the break even.
150. Yeah, exactly.
And then we also know that on the DSCR, the break even is like 1350 in rents. So 13, let's put 1300 in at 124. Yeah, you see how 1300 is just underneath
Yep.
1.1?
Yeah.
So, but 1350 brings that up to 1.1.
Okay.
But yeah, if we shop for 1,500, we're at 1.2, and you got $300 spread there.
Did you look at? I mean, I think 1300. It is nice inside, but I don't know if that really matters too much. But I think,
Let's take a quick look right here. We'll see what we got working with. So I'm just gonna check rentals quickly.
yeah,
Quick rentals, and then let me put your address in there. We'll go a little bit further out because it is Baytown, and then we'll do square footage. We'll do like 1,200 and under. Rentals are a little bit. They're not as picky as flips on the cost per square footage. So here's one for 1,400.
is it a 2-1?
It's a 2-2. You're a 2-1. We'll do two.
I got a bathroom out in the backyard too, so we could just say 2-2.
All right, okay. Just throw a little like hospital pan in the new mudroom.
Yep, a urinal.
So these are our best right here. Let's just look at the quality of them. So see this thing running for 1,200, and it's like your condition was before you rehabbed it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we're all. It actually, dude, it's a cute
No, I know. I went in there, remember
house,
the
man.
other day.
I hate renting it. It's so nice in there.
So this thing ran in for 1,400. This is more in line with yours.
Yep,
Yeah, this thing ran for 1,400, and then this thing also ran for 1,400. So this one's a little bit bigger,
yep.
but not by a ton. And again, rentals don't make a huge difference with square footage. But yeah, see, this is pretty basic too. So because yours is nice, I would shoot for 1450.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing been quite as nice as yours. And there's no actives, I don't believe. We'll even go
When were those
200.
all rented? Like recently?
Yeah, within the last 180 days.
Okay.
So these are the active ones we've got right here. This is essentially what you're competing with. So let's look at this. They're trying to get 1,650 for this one. So yeah, this one's trying to get 1,650.
That's two full bath though.
It's a 2-2, yeah. This one they're asking 1,300 for. Looks like a duplex maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
look at
does.
this one, 1,225.
Okay. Yeah, that one's
Again, it's
baby
got
too.
window units and a gas heater. Like,
Holy, that looks like trouble. All right, well pull up
yeah.
selling comps right now too, real quick, since I got you.
Okay. So yeah, I would feel comfortable listing yours at 1,450 and maybe it settles at 1,400.
Okay. I was thinking about calling Exxon and be like, hey, you got any people moving there for these new contracts? I got a nice I don't even know who to call, but I would just start calling. They got some big contracts happening in
Yeah,
Baytown, so
just
it's
make
gonna
sure you
start
get the
popping.
right tenant. If your property management doesn't have a list of people already, there's a way to do it. You can even run like a little Facebook ad or go into the groups and put it. A lot of tenants, like especially in that kind of area, they don't employ a realtor to find them, right? They're just shopping to see what they can find. But you definitely want to get the right tenant.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and the only way you get the right tenant is to have a healthy amount of applications. All right. So looks like there's one or two new builds. So we'll just do like 1990 and under. And then we'll do 1,100 square feet and under. This one's pending. It's a little bit bigger, but it's a 2-1.
Yeah, but it got that double lot and all that
The lot's 10,000 square feet. How big is your lot?
I don't know.
Or 6,300. It's not a huge difference
It's
unless
not a
this is
huge
unless
difference.
this is a duplex.
Yeah, what's all that stuff behind it?
It says two lots, but it says it's only 10,000 square feet. Unless no, see, because this is not 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, no.
It's the total lot size here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got all the garages and stuff. Like I could see that. That man, those guys can park anywhere. So that one was listed at 165, huh?
It's pending at 165. Well, we don't know if it sells for 165, but that's what it's pending for. But the house itself looks very basic.
Yep.
Look at that. I mean,
Yeah, not that nice, but I see the big lot. That would be pretty and the garages. All right, let's check another one.
there's not a ton of them.
These are all in the last 6 months listed or
These
sold.
are all the last 180 days. So I'll go a little bit further back.
So that was all
These are
pending and sold?
I put actives in there too, just to see
Hmm.
what you're competing with. So right here on the status, you'll see active. This is that pending one, and all of these are sold here. This little thing, 658, sold for 140. It is a 3-1, but it's tiny. Look at this. See, this thing sold for 140.
Yeah.
That's a junker.
Yo.
And then so most of these are 3-1s. This one sold for 134. I remember seeing this is Ozzy's one.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, see, they're selling as is between 135 to 140. You'd get
Man.
one. You'd get 155, man.
Well, I'm gonna list it for sale and rent, and then I can't close,
Yeah,
and then I'll just close it at, the beginning of the year or whatever. So
yeah.
that's kind of my goal going forward. What'd that sell
This
for?
This is kind of a weird one.
Super weird. I remember looking at that one. Yeah, dude, going forward. Well, and I'm glad I did this. Like, I'm not gonna beat myself up, and I get beat up in the comments enough. But like, yeah, shit, you find one at 44, I level it, fix the drywall or whatever, and then just listed it. Dude, even 120, 100, like it's, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
now you know, but when you're in flipping mind, especially when you're new, all you think about is house, budget, flip, house, budget, flip. And again, it was looking real attractive when we were gonna make it a 3-2.
You probably would have
Because
got
then you're in the
closer to
160s and stuff, you know. So it was like, and it was so small until we got slapped by the city. We were only like, I think a week and a half into it, like maybe 2 weeks, and it was like we were ready to put the kitchen back together and stuff. I mean, it would have only taken us 2 more weeks, and we would have been done.
yeah.
So it's just everything happens. It is what it is, but like I can go back and say, well, we had a really good plan.
Yeah, sure. I still think you would get 155 because look, man, this is 658 square feet. It is a 3-1, but it's only 658 square feet. So that other bedroom must be a shoebox.
What will you bring up a flip calculator then real quick and let's just see what I've
Yeah.
all paid and what break even and
Can you see this?
yep.
Okay. So let's say 155,000.
Let's go
Uh,
like yeah, 145.
okay. You bought it for 44.
Yeah.
Your rehab was
That
75,
yeah.
and then the loan is 113. Did you bring around 11,000 at closing?
Yes.
Okay, because that balances out.
So at 145 we'd be looking at about 7 grand. How many
Wow, this is at 4 months. You're going to be closer to what? 9 months, 8 months?
yes. Actually probably 10.
Make $177.
Yep.
So 155, obviously you make your 10K. And you get your cash back. You get all
Yeah,
your
no, so how much cash back is there?
33,000.
Oh, that's cash. Okay.
That's at
So if I didn't make
155.
the 9,800, I would have about 23,000 back.
Yeah, if you sold it at 140, you said, or
Yeah.
145. I
145.
think you
Yep.
would sell more than 140 because those junkers are selling at 140. Yeah, if you sold at 140, you get 20K back.
If it sold at 140,000, I would
At
get
145, you get 23,000 back. Pretty much.
wait, that didn't make sense because now there was less estimated net. So the estimated net was negative at 140.
So 140, your estimated net is minus
Yeah.
4,500. Yeah.
So I would get back 19,000 bucks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
So your break even essentially is 145.
yeah, it's so funny. It's weird how your mind goes to like, shit, even if I sold it at 140 and I got 20,000 bucks back in my pocket, I feel like I'm winning after what I've gone through. And okay, so I lose 4,900 bucks, but I spent more on a stupid ass, flipping course that I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like
Sure, yeah.
I got a master's degree for 4,900. Like that one we did in spring, working with the city and all that. Like, it's just so much easier to just call and communicate. You hound them, you get on it and
What I would say is that none of the properties on the comps are as nice as your one, right? Because
yeah.
they're not fully rehabbed or they're very basic. And you have those junkers set up at 140 where
My only
they're
thing would be if those sold like, a year ago or
oh, let's take a look. I mean,
because the market's
what's your bet? This
changed.
141 right here, right on West Francis. This sold for 140. It was 658 square feet, and we know it's pretty much as is.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, they painted in some carpet. Look at that kitchen. You got to change that kitchen. I can't even tell if it has central air. Oh, I see the return there. So, but this thing sold. It sold in April,
Okay. Well, yeah,
and
I'm
then
not
and then
too deterred. And
Aussie's
maybe I will
Aussie's
try and
one.
list it, and
So what you could do is you could just shoot for the stars, right? And say, I'm going to list it for rent, and that's my game plan. I'm going to have it rented. But just for the heck of it, I'm going to throw it on at 160.
55. Yeah.
Let's say 159, 160, right?
Yeah.
Then by because it is the nicest one, well, now all of a sudden you make 15K and you get
Yep.
$38,000 back.
Or you sell it at 150 and you make 5K and I get 25K back in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I learned a
So
hell of
it
a lot.
doesn't hurt anything to have it listed too. And then if you get a fantastic number, then you can always sell it.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have my numbers for my other flip right there then?
Which one?
Home Shore Acres, because it's listed right now at 249.
Let me take a look. Forest, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's that. Remember, it was that new loan. I've never even been able to find it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so the payoff was like 168. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been able to see it.
Here, let me pull it up. I have that one on my phone. And that's been fully drawn out too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, 168, 750. So 168, 750. And now you know how to do DSCR. You can look at this one too
Yeah,
if you need
let's run it both. I mean, I would never want this as a rental, but yeah, if you got to.
the thing that's going to kill that one is the flood insurance because
Yep.
that's an extra 150, 200 a month. So, do you remember how much you bought it
Budget
for?
was 75K,
You bought it for 130?
127, I think. 128.
You couldn't have brought
I brought
40.
a shitload to the
You
table.
brought
Like,
40?
yeah, it was something because remember we were like, oh, this
I
appraises
thought you
all
brought
day
like
at
20. I
at
thought you bought
two
like
thirty.
I thought you bought 20, 25, 30.
Oh no. It was over 30 something thousand. I remember that's the one I had the panic attack on because the appraiser came back at like like
230.
low 200s
Yeah.
and we had it at like I think 230 something or
Yeah. I think yeah.
budget 75.
From what I remember, I think you're in it at right around 30.
What?
Cash out one. I could be wrong though. I think maybe you bought it closer to 120.
Let's see.
I'll have to go back.
I put down 31,276. It looks like I bought it for 125 from the seller, but then I paid hard money or money Mike $3,000.
If you wanted to do 125, sure, the house is yours right now.
I'll
But
do
if you wanted
125 right now. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So we'll put 128 then.
Yep. And then it looks like cash to close was 31,000. Yeah, 275.
Plus your 3,000 plus. So I guess it is closer to 40, huh?
Yeah, no, it hurt. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why I want this
brutal.
one gone so bad.
Yeah. So if you sell at 245, you're making a little profit. And
Okay.
this is 10 months. Or you're not in this one 10 months, are you?
No. That one is
Like six?
yeah.
Okay, so at 6 months, your break even's actually closer to that original appraisal value at 230, I believe, like 235.
Yeah.
Yeah, 235 is your break even on it.
Yep.
So yeah, if you would have sold it for 269, you would have been doing pretty damn well.
Well, yeah.
You'd
Yeah,
make
and I
like
mean I'm running up against this market too where just nothing's moving, nothing's selling, you know. I think
yep,
had 6 months ago it'd have been a completely different story. So
yeah.
245 right now, I'm walking away with
And
10,500, but how much is total cash in everything? How much
if
would
you
I
sold
get
it at
back?
245, you're getting 63,000 back.
Feel like I hit the lottery, dude.
Yeah, you got a lot tied up in them. Yeah,
I
you're
do.
getting
So
63 back because that's all your cash at close, and
yeah,
then it's your your holding costs.
gotcha.
So
Perfect.
and you got a lot. You got more tied up into that one than any other.
Yep.
Flory,
Yeah.
Flory, you've got like 20 something tied up. This one you got 60, 50-ish. Yeah, you
Well,
got
I got,
your
got a good
cash plus your
100K
hold.
tied up. That's nice.
Yeah, so you got your cash, which was 40, and then your closing costs, which you've already spent at 10. So you've got 50K tied up in this one, and you got 20 in Flora.
Yep.
So that's 70, and then I don't know how much you got tied up in Homan. Probably another 20, right?
Yep.
Yep.
6 figures, baby. Love it.
Until you get the next project, and then it's in there.
That's why I'm going nice areas, dude, and doing one at a time. One of these at a time, and you
Yeah.
got 30K out there or whatever. That's a little different. And you can wait for a good offer, you know. That's why I'm like, man, these dudes that do 50, 5, 10, 15 of these a year, or these guys who are doing 5 a month or 10 a month, it is crazy to me. But yeah, they got
Well,
systems.
now you see why when I first started, I said my guy who flips 100 a year, and he's super happy if he makes 15K net on a
Yeah.
house. And a lot of people will think, well, that's too little, but he systematized it. And then once you really dig into the numbers, if you make 15K, you're happy.
And that's I think what's wrong with like what's out there being taught is it's always max profits. There's like 100 different ways to do house flipping business. There truly is. I mean, you can do the
It's just
one a
those.
year home run, or you do 10 a year.
Love it when my wife watches HGTV. It just cracks me up because they'll say purchase price 128,
Yep.
rehab 75, net profit.
Five
They'll just
million.
take the ARV, and then they'll take these two numbers, and then they'll just subtract them, and that's your profit.
Yep. Yep,
They
exactly.
don't factor in taxes, insurance, closing costs,
Well,
overages.
yeah, and it was like a 9 month reno.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fit into a 30-minute segment.
But there is, I mean, no matter what, leveraging hard money, finding the right flip, getting it for the right price, like you can make some serious money flipping. And now I know how to. I feel like, and I think moving forward, I feel good. Like I'm gonna crush it, but try and do these.
The thing which always blows my mind is how fast it swings one way or another, and
Yep.
a lot of it comes down to what you buy it at. If you bought this thing at 105, right, and
Yep.
you sold now all of a sudden, you sold it for 245. Now you've made over 30,000 bucks.
Yep. Yep. Or you get that budget down, go through multiple contractors, find a really good one. But again, we tear down some drywall and we find out that 85-90% of this house has termite damage that we didn't expect. So like that was, I think the budget originally was in like the 60s,
Yep.
but we ended up adding 350 studs to this thing. We had to completely rebuild the back. It was just like, things that again, I'll look for now. I'll have a termite guy go down to that area. You know what I mean? It's like you learn.
Yep.
We were just with Kirk. He said the same thing, dude. He's like, every time I'm learning so much and everything you've said happens, but you get more confidence and I feel
Always
good
happens.
about it.
Every single day I tell people don't do this loan
Yeah.
because they're bringing it to me and we're plugging it in. And it's a 78, 79% deal. And I said,
Right.
you'll be lucky if you break even on it.
Yep.
But do you want to spend 6 months to break even? And if you bought it at this price, if you bought it at closer to the 70, 65, 70%, you have a lot more opportunity to make money on this.
Yep.
And especially now in today's market, you got to have it very aggressively priced and you got to have
Yeah.
a really, really good product. I mean, the buyers are so picky, anything they pick up on, like they feel a little bit of settling in that back room, they've got other opportunities to walk. They're
Yeah, because that's the other thing, dude. It's like everybody goes, "Oh, the market's too good right now. Everything's overpriced." This is like, a year ago, 2 years, and I'm gonna wait till the market slows down to start flipping. It's like, dude, I'd rather overpay in a hot market because I know it's gonna sell instantly, even at a higher rate than right now, where it's tougher to
wow.
sell.
For sure. But also, I mean, we were happy to, even on the lending side, happy to go higher on that LTV because if you start a project in 3 months, the value of that property is more likely to increase.
Mm-hmm.
And a down market, what's going to happen is the lenders are going to come in and leverage less because after that 3 months, 4 months, it's
Yeah.
more likely that the market's going to soften even further. Now your value is less. So the lender's always going to want to be leveraged, closer to that 70%, in a down market or even less. A lot
Yep.
of lenders right now are doing, man, we saw one yesterday where he was doing 65% loan to cost, 14 and 4. So,
Mm.
I mean, they're anticipating that it's not going to increase that much in value like it was in the hot market.
Dang. Well,
But
I
even
got my
then,
numbers.
crappy rehabs would sell back then.
Yep.
If you remember, you clean a house and throw it on the market and sells for 30K over.
Exactly. And those may be the ones here soon coming for sale in the next year or two. So, well, I got my numbers. Now I got to list. I got to sell one that's already listed and get the other one listed. And I'm going to be
You'll sell
okay. I'm
two
going
that
to
are
move
listed.
forward. Yep.
Yeah, so you're gonna sell the two. The more you look at short acres, that's gonna free you up a lot,
Yep.
man. If you can get that thing sold.
Man, it's had a ton of showings. I think probably 15 to 20 showings. A lot of them had really good things to say. I think
Yeah.
you're right now. They're just and I see it all over. It's just a tough, tough market. So it'll happen.
Yep.
So going through that, I guess I feel a little bit better. I'm gonna list that Baytown property, and then I'm gonna list it for rent as well, and just kind of the better of the two. I guess I'll take. I would love. So with this channel, I also just want to be as real as possible. So I don't really care what anybody says or thinks. I've gotten a lot of experience going through a couple of these flips. So at this point, I really wouldn't care breaking even, getting my cash out. And in fact, on a few of these, I mean, especially with the second one, even if I lost a couple $1,000s, it's not like it's money out of my pocket. I'm just not going to get back as much as I got in the deal because, again, when you're using a hard money loan, you are putting a chunk of money down. So there's that buffer as well. So if I could learn all these lessons and figure out exactly what I want to do with flipping and the area that I want to be in, and it cost me a couple grand, at least I'm doing stuff right at the end of the day. So it's not the best plan. I also ran into, a slower market right now, which also entices me to get way better deals, to negotiate even harder. And that might help us all too, because the wholesalers are feeling it too. I actually was talking to someone like, yeah, I can't get rid of deals. Even just a couple months ago, everything was selling. Now it's like they really got to work. So if I were you guys, I would be working those wholesalers even harder to get their numbers down even lower, and then really do a lot of, investigation on the areas that you want to flip on and days on market, right? So how long are these houses sitting? That's what I'm going to do going forward, but I got to get some capital back. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm trying to be as real and as raw as I possibly can. And the other thing is, if you want to see how I got into that Homan deal, the one that I'm going to maybe turn into a rental, it's right here. So this way you can actually go through and see what my thinking was, see if you would do things differently, and you can actually see the numbers that we were running right there. So go check that video out right there. You're going to want to see how I got myself into this one.